Hi, my name's Elle Cameron, and I want to share with you a story. It's called The Weight Beneath Our Feet, and it is happening right now in Laramie, Wyoming. This story isn't about headlines or heroes, it's about the ones who pour the foundation, literally, cement workers. Not the ones in glossy brochures or corporate safety videos. I'm talking about the crew that shows up before sunrise, whose boots carry the dust of yesterday's pour, whose hands know the language of slump tests and rebar tensions better than any spreadsheet ever will. The kind of place where the wind cuts sideways and the coffee tastes like burnt resolve. They didn't ask for interviews. They didn't pose for portraits. They're not influencers. But they told stories in the way they joked about cracked knuckles and in the way they watched the mix settle like a prayer. One of them, Lewis, said something that stuck with all of us. He was smoothing out a fresh slab, his trowel moving like a conductor's baton, and he said, "People walk on this and never think twice, but we know what's underneath. We know what it took to hold it together." That line, "We know what it took to hold it together," it's not just about concrete. It's about families and paychecks and pride. It's about showing up when your back aches and your kid needs new shoes and the foreman's yelling about timelines, but the mix isn't ready and the weather's turning, and still you pour. And now, here in Laramie, Wyoming, those same workers have poured something else, a foundation for change. The crew at Mountain Cement just made history. After decades of turnover, silence, and widespread fear, they voted to unionize. In one of the most anti-union states in the country, they stood together and said, "Enough." With 63% support across a 110-person workforce, quarry crews, truck drivers, lab techs, electricians, they joined the Boilermakers. They faced mandatory anti-union meetings outside consultants hired to sow fear and 10 separate unfair labor practice charges against management. They didn't back down. One of them, Alex, a mechanic and welder, said, "I was threatened with my job. Now I don't have to look over my shoulder every day wondering, is this going to be the day?" He's not alone. The organizing committee? A mix of cowboys, bikers, veterans, people who know grit, who know what it means to hold things together when everything around you is trying to crack. They posted flyers in auto shops and diners. They ran social media ads to counter misinformation. They built a movement from the ground up, and the town showed up. Churches, small businesses, even the Boomerang, the local newspaper, amplified their voices. This isn't just a labor win, it's a cultural shift. It's proof that even in places where organizing feels impossible, solidarity can still pour through the cracks. There's a kind of poetry in that, not the kind that gets published, the kind that gets lived. And maybe that's why I wanted to record this, because in a world obsessed with polish and perfection, there's something sacred about the rough edges, about the people who build the literal ground we stand on, and rarely do they get seen. So here's to cement workers, to Lewis, to Alex, to the ones who know the weight beneath our feet, to the ones who hold it together, quietly, daily, without applause. When you felt unseen, if your work lives in the shadow of someone else's spotlight, know this: your story matters. It matters to me. Your hands tell it every day, and we're listening, and we're taking action. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe. Thank you.